Yerrrrrrrrrrr! What's going on, guys? It's your boy Burrow77 coming to you with another conference tournament preview video for college basketball. We are going to go over some of the major conference tournaments and try and find some value on some long shots. There's going to be a couple of serious bets in here. There's going to be a couple of just funny, for the meme, for the culture, kind of fun times and fun conversations. I do want to let you know I am doing this video after a very long and emotional day of watching Champions League. I really hate to start the video with a plug for another one, but if you haven't checked out the Champions League videos that I've been putting up on my own and with Josh on Land Your Bets Network, then you are missing out on some of the best afternoon entertainment in all of sports. The video had a really solid day today. It went 17 and 17. You should not be betting one unit a piece on volume like that. I'm never going to recommend that you put 34% of your bankroll in play over 2 games. But hypothetically speaking, if you flat bet for a unit on everything plus money and to return a unit on everything minus money, we netted about 4.2 units of profit in UCL, with our 2 longest odds hits being Cancelo shot on target plus 220 in the Barcelona versus Napoli match, as well as Politano to score or assist in that same match. We had a lot of fun and we made a lot of bread on the pitch. Now let's see if we can have some fun and make some bread in the college basketball tournaments and transition over to the hardwood. Without further ado, we'll jump right into it, starting with the AAC or the American tournament. Look, I know South Florida lost to Tulsa and that Memphis really only has a way to get into this tournament by winning out. And by this tournament, I do mean the round of 68. I think that Memphis and South Florida, Memphis has too many losses. South Florida had too soft of a schedule, especially non-conference. There's a couple of possible bid stealers here in this tournament. SMU might even be a bid stealer if they go on a run beating whoever they play in the first round. If they beat Charlotte, if they beat FAU and go to this championship game, they could be a dark horse bid stealer. Same with Memphis, South Florida, and UAB. For me, South Florida at plus 550 is a really good number because they are the top seed. They did play really strong in the conference, and they're going to get a chance to avenge a couple of losses here if the opportunity arises. South Florida closed out the regular season with a loss to Tulsa, and in their only head-to-head, they had a loss to UAB. So this top line of loss revenge plus being the 1 seed at plus 550 and only needing 2 wins to get into the championship game feels like some pretty long odds for me. And I think that South Florida will be extra motivated because this is likely their only way into the tournament or the round of 68 and get off the bubble. So let's see if the South Florida Bulls have what it takes to get it done. I like them at plus 550 on FanDuel. Keeping it moving to the Big East tournament. I don't think anybody's beating UConn. I don't know if there's a better team in the country than UConn. There will be people who argue with me and say that it's Houston. I disagree. But I'm not paying minus 105 for a team to win 3 conference games in a row. That's just not long enough odds for me. I don't like anyone in this top line beating Connecticut, so I immediately had to go to the second line to try and find some value. I thought the odds on Creighton weren't as good as they should be for a number 2 seed, and that's how I ended up on Marquette. Now, I mean no disrespect here, and a long shot has definitely won the Big East Conference before. I believe Georgetown won it as like an 8 seed, or maybe even higher before. But DePaul is one of the worst basketball teams on the planet, and Nova should absolutely stomp them, which means I assume Nova is going to play Marquette in this first round. This will be a good test, as it is a little bit of a trappy game for Marquette because it is so hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. That logic alone got us over the top on UNC Asheville and put us in a great position to hedge for an almost 2-to-1 return on our investment when they played Longwood in the championship. So if you want to fade my logic here and take a flyer on Nova, God bless you. That's just not my thing. I think Marquette here really needs a confidence boost going into the tournament. They ended up losing 2 of their last 3 games of the regular season. And if Marquette could make a run here to the championship game and avenge a bad loss they took against a Creighton squad, I think that'll go a long way for bolstering Marquette's confidence heading into the round of 68 in the NCAA bracket. I also think that plus 600 is a really nice number to win 2 games in a row and then try and find a hedge against Connecticut. I do think there will be some buyout value here if they make it to the championship. Keeping things moving into the Big Ten, I don't love a ton here. I do have a couple of joke ones that I want to talk about, but I think if anyone's beating Purdue from this top line, it'll be more valuable just to bet it on a game-by-game situation. I do legitimately think that Michigan State, this is the time of year that they get hot and they tend to go on runs. Minnesota has this thing at home, so that's a fun story there. I hate Northwestern, but they do show up and play basketball occasionally. For me, the only real position I would look at is U of I plus 310. These are pretty short odds. They do just have to win 2 games, and they're in the championship game. It might be more effective to do a money line rollover here because I don't know how good of a buyout number you're going to get against Purdue. U of I really is the only team in the Big Ten I take seriously besides Purdue. They're the only team that consistently finds a way to win on the road in the Big Ten, wins on neutral floors, and looks like they can contend with the top schools from other conferences. Like I said, these guys probably aren't worth betting to win the whole thing. Northwestern at 16-1. That's a long shot. MSU at 10-1 is a super long shot. Minnesota would be a fun story. They have to get past Michigan State and Purdue and then finish out the rest of the top of that bracket. But at 100-1 for a team that's hosting the Big Ten tournament, I've seen crazier things happen, and we all know how much this conference is expanding next season. Personally, I think I'll probably just, if I was going to back Minnesota, what I would do is I would just take them on the money line and keep rolling the winnings over into the next bet. But it is something fun to talk about, and that's what we're here to do, right? These are called long shots and value plays for a reason. It's because March is crazy and favorites get upset all the time in college basketball. That's why I love it, and that's why I watch. So we are looking for those longer odds upset spots with this one. Keeping it moving to maybe the most competitive or most at least highly rated mid-major out there, the Mountain West Tournament. Sportsbooks love San Diego State, and it's easy to see why. They do have a little bit of a tough draw in the first round, playing UNLV, who this is kind of like their home court. And to their credit, UNLV has created a lot of upsets already in the Mountain West and can be a very tough team to beat and a tough out. I think the reason San Diego State is the favorite here too with the shortest odds is because everybody knows Utah State's building is a cheat code. And when you take them out of that environment, it does become a lot harder for them to play. On the 2 seed line, Nevada at plus 500 feels really good. They're off the SDSU and the Utah State line. I think that Boise State is a bit overrated and that they are also a little bit of home court merchants. I think Blackshear and Lucas are absolutely nasty on Nevada and that these guys have the offensive firepower to take it to anybody in this tournament. I just wish Blackshear would actually make his free throws at a higher clip. Other than that, this Nevada team is rock solid. So I think plus 500 is a little bit long for the 2 seed here, and there's some nice value. It also doesn't hurt that Nevada is coming into this tournament on a 7-game win streak, including a head-to-head in the rubber match versus Boise. So these teams split their regular season head-to-heads, and if they get an opportunity, a third one, it'll be winner take all on a neutral floor in Las Vegas. So I like Nevada in that one. Keeping it moving to the final ever Pac-12 tournament. RIP, you were a decent basketball conference, but you got way too greedy with your TV deal, and I'm super happy to see the Pac-12 network gone. One less premium channel to pay for so I can watch sports. And hopefully all of these teams that find a new home go to conferences that already have good TV deals on networks people can actually tune in and watch, because the Pac-12 does have a lot of fun football and basketball, and it's super late at night for those of us here on the East Coast. And some of us like to degenerately bet at midnight for tip-offs. All that said, my serious pick here is Wazoo. They are plus 700 on the 2-seed line. I do think that's really long odds for a team that plays at a little bit of a slower tempo, but has really good shooting. Stays off of the Arizona line until the finals, where you'll be able to buy out of this number pretty easily. Wazoo has lost a game to Cal, but I'm not super worried about that. I think it's a one-off. I think they easily beat Cal if they play them again, especially on a neutral floor. The dangerous team here is Colorado. Washington State has beaten them twice in season, and it is very hard to win 3 against a conference opponent. And the Buffs are on a 6-game winning streak heading into the tournament. I'm not worried that if these two play each other again, that Washington State will fumble the bag here. And I think that Arizona is a little fraudulent, and I think there's a few teams in the country, and there's even been a few teams here in the Pac-12 that have beat them. Now, this is kind of just a joke, but like not really, because Oregon State's done it before. Oregon State is 250 to 1. They have won this tournament before as one of these super long shot seeds at 100 to 1 no more than a few years ago. It's weird. The Beavers have a weird habit of showing up here in this Pac-12 tournament and causing a lot of chaos. I'm not taking myself super seriously on this, but like for $1, I think it is worth it. This team is garbage. The Beavers have lost 7 of their last 10. So again, it's a little bit of a joke, but like also not really, because Oregon State's done it before. I don't know why. The Beavers, they just tend to be total agents of chaos here. Keeping it moving into the SEC conference, I think this number on Florida at 16 to 1 is really, really good. I know they're the 6th seed. I know they'll have to win an extra game compared to the top 4 seeds, but Florida can shoot with anybody in the country. Florida defends the 3-ball really well. They forced overtime with Bama and lost in their first head-to-head, and then they beat Bama the second head-to-head. Florida's beaten Kentucky in their building. Florida beat Auburn in the swamp. This Florida team's nasty, and I feel that 16 to 1, even though they are a 6th seed, is too long. Florida's one of the few teams here in the SEC that consistently got gigantic road wins besides South Carolina. And the reason I'm staying away from South Carolina as the 5 seed is because they have to go through Auburn and potentially Tennessee to get to the championship game. And I think that's a much tougher road than going through a bunch of teams that Florida has split head-to-head with and has found success both home and away versus Kentucky and Alabama. They forced both of those games to go into overtime, and then when they saw them a second time, they were able to clean it up and get the W. So I like Florida a lot here, and I am probably going to plunk down my own cash on this one. That's it. That's all I got. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I just wanted to get you guys the brackets and throw out a couple of long shot winners that I think will be fun and keep us entertained during the week. Remember, we have 2 more Champions League fixtures tomorrow, kicking off at 4 p.m. Eastern because daylight savings time is weird and Europe hasn't sprung forward yet. If you haven't done so, please check out that video for the UCL with myself on the Land Your Bets Network. You should be watching this on the Land Your Bets Network, so it shouldn't be hard to find. It is right here on the YouTube. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in, for all your comments, all your criticisms. I wish I could have done a little bit better on the college basketball video record, but this is something that I'm new to and working on when it comes to the videos and the video production. I hope you are all looking forward to a great Selection Sunday and an exhilarating March Madness. I do want to remind you guys that I will be bringing you 3 bracket breakdown videos with different guests. On Monday, 3/18, I will be having Brad Thomas from NBC Sports on. On Tuesday, 3/19, I will be having my friend Brandy Mack from Twitter on, who is an Auburn alum and an SEC mega fan. And then Wednesday afternoon, Josh and I will be getting together and breaking down the bracket on Wednesday, 3/20. And that'll take us all the way into tournament season. Reminder that if you like the UCL content, I do other soccer content as well. My live show on Wednesday nights with my boy Young Leg is called 2 Foot Talk. That's TWO Foot Talk. And you can find the link to that in the description right down below. On Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, I work with BetUS and am a member of the La Liga team. Not to brag, but Klaus and I really cleaned up this week. I went 4-1 for plus 3.3 units. It's a really fun show, and you won't find 3 more guys who know more about Spanish football than us. Again, the link right down here below. Other than that, I just want to say thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support. Let's have some fun, and I hope to see you at the window. That's it. That's Talking Hoops with Oaks. Peace. I'm out.